Good. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We begin in the name of God, the most merciful, the eternally merciful. As you all know, we are here for the wedding of Magda and Nabil. And to give us an idea of what will come ahead, let me just give you a brief outline of the process. The first process, the first most important part of the actual marriage will be what we call the ijab and qabul, the proposal and the acceptance. So I've already gotten confirmation from Magda that her father is going to represent her. Now, according to some schools of Islamic law, the daughter is represented usually by the father, a wali, who will act on her behalf. And according to other schools of Islamic law, she will represent herself. We're going to do both. Now, the process here is that her father, when I prompt him, will propose to Nabil. And then Nabil will hopefully say yes. And then Nabil will propose to Brother Mukhtar, her father, who will hopefully say yes. Then Magda, on her own behalf, will propose to Nabil, and Nabil will hopefully propose to her. Okay, this assumes everything will go well. Okay. That's the first step, proposal and acceptance. The second step will be a signing of the contracts. So the witnesses, can the witnesses be present and just stand? You're one of the witnesses. How about if you stand here, if you so the mother. If you can stand, yeah, they just be nearby. This is fine. This is good. Okay, it's nice and cozy this way. Okay, so then we will have the signing of contracts, because in our tradition, this is a social and spiritual, it's a religious and legal relationship. So I will be conducting the religious, and this also allows for the legal, the confirmation. And within the contracts, they've listed out all of these goals, obligations. You know, I thought these were law students who wrote this, but it's a really nice contract. One of the required parts of the contract is a marriage gift that the bride picks, that the husband gives to her. And that's also in the contract. And the basic point is to start the marriage on a sweet step. You're starting the marriage with a gift. Okay? That's also here in case anyone wants to investigate. So the first part is the proposal and acceptance. The second part will be the signing of the contracts. And the third part, I'll give a short sermon talking about marriage. And then after that, we will have an exchange of rings. So the rings nearby. Okay, good. And then you can hang up in the hair here right before everyone if you'd like.
Thank girl.
And then last, we will end with a prayer. Okay. Very simple, very straightforward. The whole process should take us probably about 20 minutes. Yeah. Very, very simple, straightforward process. Okay, so now, does anyone have any questions about anything at all? Now, this is my second time in about 25 years coming to Rockford. Are you Cubs fans or Sox fans? Raise your hand if you're a Cubs fan. I'm sorry, it's the wrong team. One team in Chicago. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Okay. All right, so we'll begin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem amma ba'd. We express our praise and gratitude to the Prophet. We express our praise and gratitude to God and seek blessings upon the Prophet. Peace be upon him. So the first part, ijab and qabul. So Brother Mukhtar, in speaking to our brother Nabil, I'll just say the words and you can repeat them after me. Will you accept my beloved daughter Magda as your wife?
Will you accept my beloved daughter Magda as your wife?
Okay, so you have two options here. Yes and yes. Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, alhamdulillah, round of applause. If for some reason house collapses, the Cubs win the World Series, other national tragedy, we're done. All the rest is now icing on the cake. So now Nabil. Okay. So to Brother Mukhtar, will you accept me as the husband of your beloved daughter?
Will you accept me as the husband of your beloved daughter Magda?
Okay, alhamdulillah, very good. Now for the real. No, kidding. Good. So now Magda. Okay. To Nabil. Will you accept me as your beloved wife.
Will you accept me as your beloved wife?
Yes.
Good. Remember the word yes. She asks you a question. Well, it depends on the question. Okay. Now, Nabil. To Magda.
Get used to yes.
Will you accept me as your beloved husband?
Will you accept me as your beloved husband?
Alhamdulillah. Praise and gratitude unto the divine. So the first step has been completed successfully. Everything is running on track. Now we just need to briefly sign the contracts. So I'll let you sign right here.
Don't write Amana Construction, write your
Business card in. Okay, people, cameras, make sure you're taking a lot of photos. Okay, and then I'll get this done right here. Fantastic. Yeah.
What do you say? Couple of
The most famous of all the singers in the Arab world. She's the Michael Jackson of the Arab world. Okay. If you could print and then sign right there.
Yeah, I know.
So you could print and sign. Okay. So the core of the contract has been done, and they've written the contract in such a way. And here's a hard surface for you. That we're also asking after the event, whoever else would like to participate in the contract signing as a witness, please do so. We've added a whole bunch of space there. Announce it. All right. So now we're moving on to the third part of the wedding. This is now the sermon. Hopefully, I won't put too many of you asleep with the sermon, and it's hot, and we'd like to get some food, so we'll jump right in. I'm going to recite the sermon partly in Arabic, and I'll translate and then explain everything that I'm reciting. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, in the name of God, most merciful and eternally merciful. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. وفي سورة الأحزاب يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا. صدق الله العظيم. So in the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, we seek refuge in God from the accursed devil. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, and seeking blessings upon the prophet, peace be upon him. I recited 3 passages from the Quran, and this is the traditional, the sunnah, the masnoon marriage sermon. The first passage, the simple translation, is, O you who believe, take God as your shield, as is his right, and do not die except in submission to him. Do not die except in submission. And what is the meaning? Take God as your shield, and do not live except in submission to him. And the second passage, O humanity, this is addressed to everyone. Again, take your nourisher, your Rabb, as your shield. Shield yourself with God. He is the one who created you from one, and from that one created its mate, and spread throughout the world men and women, many men and women. And take God as your shield. He is the one from whom you demand your rights, and look at the wombs that bore you. Look at the rights that you have towards, or look at the responsibilities you have towards the wombs that bore you, and God is swift to take account. And O you who believe, take God as your shield and be straightforward when you speak. Sums it up very, very simply. And to explain very briefly, what are we saying here? You notice the passage that was repeated most was to take God as your shield. And one of the lessons there, right from the start, is that it's in the nature of this world that you're going to be hit. You're going to be hit and hit and hit with the struggles of this world. Some of the struggles will be loss of life. And I know we've had loss of life in this community. May God give perseverance to the family members. And some of the struggles will be loss of wealth, that with the economy going up and down, I'm sure everyone here has felt. Some of the struggles will be fear. If you look at all the news that takes place, all the horrendous news, it's hard not to have fear. Some of it will be loss of the fruits of your possession. Whatever it is that you have within you, this will also be part of the struggle of this world. It is the nature of this world that it hits you. And so how do you protect yourself? Take God as your shield. And what is the lesson from there? That if you take God as your shield, you'll still be okay. Doesn't mean life is suddenly going to become easy, but you will have a shield to protect you. And notice that when I recited the passages, it was mentioned 4 times. And this is one of the first lessons of marriage. That all of us who are married in this room, all of us who've been married in this room know that there's almost nothing in this world more difficult than marriage. Marriage takes so much strength, so much effort. It is easier to be a parent than it is to be a marriage, because at least your child is cute. Your child might look like you.
I second you.
Right? And with marriage, you're dealing with 2 grown adults, and you're thinking, Nabil is speaking to Magda, saying 1, 2, 3. Magda is speaking to Nabil, saying ABC. They're both English, but they don't understand each other. This is part of the process of marriage. And what else? That the divine is saying to take God as your nourisher, Rabb, which we commonly translate as Lord, but more accurate is nourisher. That God is prescribing to you this world and him as a shield, as a way to get through life with success, with happiness. And one of the foundations here is marriage. And part of that process is to look at your responsibilities over your rights. Look at what you owe to the divine before you look at what your spouse owes you. Because what happens, if you look according to what everyone owes you, you're not going to have any friends. They owe me this, they owe me this, they owe me this. You have to look at what you owe others. What are your responsibilities to others? Right? Because tradition is all about service. And what happens when you give of yourself to your spouse, and you give more out of love to your spouse, it's an unending well. That when you give, you feel great about it. That you feel great making your spouse's life better overall, and even especially in those moments of difficulty, and especially in those moments of happiness. That much of marriage is about service to each other. And we'll talk about that more in just a moment. And marriage is a connection of families, right? That at the core of this is Magda and Nabil and Magda. That's the core. Now the job of all of us is to do what we can to facilitate the process to grow the relationship. But part of this process is Magda is being welcomed into Nabil's family. And part of the process is Nabil is being welcomed into Magda's family. And so, obviously we're speaking here of a cross-cultural marriage, but every one of us knows every marriage is a cross-cultural marriage. To give you an idea, I'm born in Karachi. My family, for those of you who knows what this means, is Bihari. My wife is from Lahore, she's Punjabi. Okay? She's from Cincinnati, I'm from Chicago. Okay? She, during the last NBA Finals, spent the entire time why LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. Right? They're still married. But anyway, so the point is that every marriage is cross-cultural, but what I'm saying here is that every marriage is a process of learning. Okay? Learning is not going to happen in a month. It's not going to happen in a year. This is a lifelong process of learning about each other. And so from there, the first lesson is that when you speak to each other, again, take God as your shield, be straightforward. What does that mean? Simply, don't be passive-aggressive. Right? Be straightforward when you speak. And I know both of them. Magda, some of you know, was my student at Loyola. Nabil and I, we happened to meet not too long ago. And they are already, mashallah, and praise God, they're all very straightforward. They're already very good friends. Okay? They're already coming with an advantage because of their friendship with each other. But it's still going to be a process of learning for Nabil, how does Magda really speak? This would be a process of Magda learning how does Nabil really speak. The starting part is pretty straightforward. And with that, we also have a passage often recited in the Quran, giving the foundational functions, purposes of marriage. More important to really consider than procreation. 3 points. Okay? That God created, this is actually in the marriage contract right at the beginning, He created the husband and wife as mates, لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, so that they find sakina, so that they find tranquility in each other. And so what are we saying here? That one of Nabil's first obligations to Magda is to figure out how to give her tranquility. But it has to happen in the way she wants, the way she needs tranquility. Because he knows how he wants it, but he has to learn how she wants it, how she needs it. And then for Magda, the same thing. To learn how Nabil wants tranquility, how he receives tranquility, and then to figure out how to give it to him. And you and I know how hectic our lives are. Just by listening to television, watching the internet, social media, there's a lot of clutter in our minds. And life gets very, very stressful. And when we speak of the home, the askan, when we speak of the home, the place of tranquility, the real tranquility is not in the walls of the house, it's in the heart that you're sharing with each other. The second purpose is mawadda, mutual, selfless love. And think about what we speak of when we speak of love. Love is not what we see in Hollywood. In Hollywood, that's infatuation, right? You know, I go swinging on a vine, music plays, and I'm happy, right? No. Love is service. Love is where you value what your spouse values. Where you value what your spouse values the way she or he values those things. Love is dedicating yourself. Love is giving of yourself. And then again, it's an endless well, and it just grows and grows. Love is giving, it's taking care of when your spouse is ill. Love is giving and taking care of when your spouse is upset. And it sounds easy, right? But it's very hard, but it can be done. Okay? It can absolutely be done. And the third one is rahma. Rahma, commonly we translate as mercy. Mercy is half of it. But first, the primary relationship of the divine with creation. The primary relationship of God with creation is rahma. The primary relationship of the prophet, peace be upon him, rahmatul lil alamin. The primary relationship is rahma. The primary relationship of believers is rahma, ruhama bainahum, and the primary relationship that husband and wife have is rahma. What is rahma? What is mercy? Again, mercy is half of it. Mercy is when you make your spouse's life easier, right? You might be justified to cause difficulty. You might want to cause difficulty, but you're giving them ease. That's half of it. The other half of rahma is that you're doing it to bring each other closer together. So when we're saying the primary relationship of the divine with creation is rahma, it's to give us ease, even through the difficult world that we're in, to bring us closer to Him. For the prophet, peace be upon him, to bring us closer to Him. For all of us to bring each other closer. closer to each other. This is central to tradition in general. This is central to Islam in particular, developing this connection. So sakina, mawadda, rahma. And so with that, summing up, we're saying this is marriage. And you and I are all witnesses to this marriage. And then as is our common culture in this society, the marriage gets symbolized with the ring. And so if the rings are nearby, usually I get a play-by-play of what's happening, but I think we can all witness it. So who would like to go first?
Ladies first.
It's up to you how you want to do it. So notice you're learning how to communicate, how communication takes place.
Right hand?
Work for me. Up.
Not on the
Halfway.
left.
Close right.
Yeah.
Good. And it's supposed to stay close.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So with that, the last part of the marriage. The last part, as we now close up the wedding, we're going to make a short prayer, so everyone would like to join us in whatever capacity you're comfortable with. بسم الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. Oh Allah, oh God, we call upon you with all of your names to shower your blessings upon the Prophet, peace be upon him, and upon his family, and upon his companions, and extend the blessings and peace upon them. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Our Lord, our cherisher, our sustainer, our trainer, our nourisher, grant us all the best of this life and the best of the hereafter and protection from the fire. And Ya Rab, O Lord, O nourisher, especially for Magda and Nabil, grant them the best of this life and the best of the hereafter and protection for the fire, from the fire. And please do the same for their parents, the best of this life and the best of the hereafter and protection from the fire. And especially for Nabil's father, grant him the best of the hereafter and the protection from the fire. And for all of their family and all of their friends and all of us and all of our family and all of our friends and for our society, grant us the best of this life and the best of the hereafter and protection from the fire. O turner of hearts, please turn their hearts in obedience to you, into love for each other, and make their foothold firm as they are seeking to serve you. And please do the same for all of us. And if we have any rancor in our hearts against anyone, please guide us to wash it out of our hearts. And please make each Magda and Nabil and Magda a coolness for each other's eyes. And if or when that they have children, please make their children be a coolness of their eyes, and a coolness of their hearts. And please guide us to success in serving you. And please guide us to assist them wherever it is that we can. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamun ala al-mursalin. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. And with that, brothers and sisters and friends and family, I present to you Mr. Nabil and Mrs. Magda in marriage. Round of applause. At this point, I think everyone's everybody.
And feel free to sign the contract. Anyone who wants to can sign it.
Kind of like a guest book.
Comes all the time.
Yes, right.
Okay.